The Viking Sky. I recently completed a transatlantic voyage on the Viking Sky. This video will give you a brief overview of the ship layout and activities. For information on the embarkation process, cruise destinations, and cruise experience, see my videos on the Vikings crossing, Barcelona, Madeira, and St. Martin. I have also posted a separate video on the deluxe stateroom on the ship. I have left links to all these videos in the description below. Let me start by saying that the Viking Sky is a lovely ship. The decor is in the Scandinavian style, which is simple, understated, and elegant. Paintings and small art pieces are spread throughout the ship and are tastefully displayed. The Viking Sky was built in 2016, has a passenger capacity of 930 and a crew capacity of 550, so a great passenger to staff ratio. I happened to catch many of the crew lining up for a Christmas greeting photo op. Quite a friendly bunch, yes? I'll start with Deck 1 and move on up the ship. Deck 1. At the aft end on this deck are two specialty restaurants, Manfredi's Italian Restaurant and the Chef's Table. Both have elegant designs, wonderful service, and tasty food, although somewhat limited menus. Moving up the ship, you run into the living room or atrium, where there are many activities throughout the cruise. The center is 3 stories high, and from the bottom there is a staircase that leads to a large screen where they often showcase artists' paintings. From Deck 2 and 3 you can look down into the living room and enjoy the musical entertainment, which is often a pianist or string musician. This is also where the daily Bago game is played, all in good fun. During our December voyage, the atrium was decorated for the holidays with Christmas trees and an entire gingerbread house display, which was evidently put together by the chefs. Behind the staircase are 5 computers for passengers' use. Also in this area is guest services, where you go if you have any problems, need to add or cancel an excursion, get maps before you leave the ship, or book a future cruise. On the same side is the library, which has books you can read there or take to your room. It is a pretty setting, though not always quiet, since it is open and connected to the living room or atrium. There is a bar on the opposite side where you can get drinks, specialty coffees, light snacks, and pastries. It is open most of the day, so it is a good place to go for snacks when the restaurants are closed. Along one side on this floor is a shop that sells mostly jewelry and handbags. Next to it is the fitness center that consists of 4 small rooms. There are quite a few treadmills and ellipticals, although I did see people waiting for machines at times. There are weight machines, free weights, and a larger area for stretching. It is also where they conducted yoga. At the bow of the ship on this level is the Nordic Spa. I couldn't take too many pictures of the spa without invading people's privacy, but it is a small area with male and female changing areas, a large jacuzzi pool, a steam room, and ice room. There are also individual rooms for spa treatments such as massages and facials. Deck 2. Starting aft, this deck has the largest non-reservation restaurant for a sit-down and be-served meal. It had a menu with standard items on one side and daily items on the other. The food and service were consistently good. Moving up the ship, you run into 2 long hallways that hover over the atrium. On one side there were numerous games, such as puzzles, bridge, backgammon, and mahjong. There were always people on this level invested in some games or puzzles. Next you will find the Torsion Lounge, that generally doesn't come alive until evening. This is where the Viking band or musicians would play. There's a small dance floor for you to kick up your heels if desired. There are also a couple shops on this level. One has jewelry and the other has sunglasses, clothing, books, gifts, and novelty items. There is also a small closet in the back of it to purchase snacks and small sundries. And finally in the bow is the Star Theater, which is the largest gathering place on the ship. This is where many of the lectures and evening performances took place. Also on Deck 2 is a walking path that circumnavigates the ship. If you complete 4 loops on this promenade, you will have walked 1 mile. Deck 3. This deck consists only of staterooms except for midship, where 2 long hallways again hover over the atrium. Deck 4 and 5. These decks consist only of staterooms. The stateroom hallways on all decks look very similar. There is a small laundrette on decks 3, 4, and 5. Deck 6. This deck consists of staterooms and the bridge. Deck 7. This deck is one of the busiest decks on the ship. Starting aft again is the Aquavit Terrace, which has a small infinity pool, hot tub, and numerous lounge chairs. There are also some tables and chairs which allow you to grab food from the World Cafe and eat outside. The World Cafe is a very large buffet with two sides that are mostly identical. I did discover partway through the cruise that there were some options only available on one side, such as gelato or gluten-free choices. The buffet is open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and closes in between. It is a serve-yourself buffet, however, there are servers to bring you drinks. It is usually a busy place, and there are a variety of food options that change from day to day. Moving up the ship on this level, you run into the pool and hot tub that sit in the middle of the deck. There are lounge chairs around the pool and lining the sides near the windows. These window seats were a coveted item throughout the cruise because of their supreme location with views looking out to the ocean. By the pool is the pool grill that has a salad bar and made-to-order burgers and sandwiches. It starts serving 30 minutes before the buffet, so it is a good place to go for an early casual lunch. Adjacent to the pool is the winter garden, where afternoon tea is served. It is generally abandoned during the day, so it is usually a good retreat for reading a book. However, once the tea service begins, it can get quite crowded and a little loud. The tea service on Viking is the best I have encountered on a cruise ship. They serve actual loose leaf tea rather than tea bags, and the petite sandwiches and sweets are scrumptious. On both sides of the winter garden are little lounge areas called lanais. They are havens for quiet reading and conversation. Also, there are 10 staterooms on this level and the owner's suite. At the bow is the Explorer's Lounge, which has arguably the best views on the ship. It is where they conducted trivia on this cruise. Mamson's is also here, which serves some pastries, sandwiches, and desserts. In the middle of the lounge is a small bar with seating. There are tables and chairs on one side of it and a lounge library on the other. Deck 8. From the Explorer Lounge on Deck 7, there are stairs that lead up to an 8th floor, where there are more lounge chairs to take in the views from the front of the ship. This area is only accessible by stairs. Near the Explorer Lounge are more staterooms. Importantly, there is a shorter promenade that circles above the small pool. This is where I like to walk in order to take advantage of the sunny days. Along this promenade are some dining tables, lounge chairs, and seating areas that filled up when the weather warmed up. Deck 9. Deck 9 is the sports deck, which is a half deck that has a putting green, shuffleboard, and bocce ball. There are also a couple small seating areas. From Deck 9, you can see the mechanism that slides a roof over the main pool. Unfortunately, when it was warm enough to open it up, we were told that the seas were too rough to do so. Deck A. There is one other deck on this ship that hopefully you won't need. It is below Deck 1 and is where the medical center is. So that completes the overview of the ship. Almost all areas are accessible by elevators and stairs, with the exception of the second level of the Explorer's Lounge. Since many of the cruise passengers are seniors, Viking takes great care to provide for all levels of mobility. Again, if you are interested in more information on this cruise, see the links in the description. I'll leave you with a view I took from the ship. The ship, the port stops, and the transatlantic crossing exceeded my expectations. I only wish Viking offered more discounts for solo travelers. This transatlantic cruise is one of the few that Viking offers at a price that is somewhat affordable for a solo traveler. As always, if you have questions, feel free to ask in the comments section. And check out the Senior Solo Travel website, where all my videos are laid out in an easy-to-access format, and the Facebook Travel Forum, where you can interact with other travelers. I have left links to both in the description below. And if you'd like to follow my senior and solo travel journeys, please like and subscribe. Cheers!